Hey guys, sorry, I don't know why our intro is glitching. That's the second week in a row it's done that. It's so weird. Um,
That's right.
welcome, welcome,
Hello.
welcome back. We are the From Series podcast. I'm Kelly,
I'm Jazz.
and this is Mr. Growly, who's
Hey,
trying to get
Grady.
off camera right now because he's being shy. Growly, look, come here, come
I'm
here. All right. Anyway, it was Mr. Growly's birthday. He's being a little shy right now. It was his birthday this week. He's 11 years old. So he's an old boy, but
Happy birthday, bud.
we
Virtual
made a little
pet.
we made a cake out of his food for his birthday and put 2 carrots in it for an 11.
That's so
There's
cute.
his face. um but this was a really good episode.
Yes. They really
Um
pick up steam, getting to the end of the season.
yeah, absolutely.
A lot of
It was
information.
really exciting. Um we get some cool flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And that I definitely want to discuss a little bit. Really interesting, conversation fodder flashbacks. Lots
So
to
much
talk about.
information, so much of the how did this happen of the series gets told in this episode.
Yeah, for sure. And as you guys can see, Jazzy is recording live from Fromville. I need to get the Colony House background or something.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Or just or inside the diner or something.
Literally, oh, I'm going the wrong way. Boyd is right here over my other shoulder that I can't.
I was just about to point that out. Yeah.
Okay.
I see Boyd hanging out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry we missed last night. I was taking a mental health day. Lots of stuff going on, but we're here today and we're excited to talk about this episode. Yeah. So the synopsis reads, in the wake of another death, Boyd questions his decision to leave. Kenny steps up and embraces his new role. Jim rallies the town around his idea to build a radio tower. The idea of Jim rallying people is just kind of hilarious to me.
Also, Donna did the rallying and Jim just talked afterwards, but we'll give Jim the credit, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. yeah, Donna really did do most of the most of the rallying. So yeah, we lost Father Cottrey last week, which was very sad. By the way, I don't know if Jazzy, have you seen the missing posters?
No.
I'm gonna have to put those on the show. I'm gonna have to upload those so we can show them next week. The From account put out some really cool missing posters for the characters.
Ooh.
And Father Cottrey is from my area, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's from St. Charles, Illinois, which is a Chicago suburb. So I just thought that was cool. That made me smile. So anyway, yeah, and it said where everybody was going from into, which was really cool.
Interesting. I totally missed that. I followed that account closely.
This was a while ago. I think these were posted a long time ago, maybe during season 1 or something. But yeah, I'll get them up here and so we can look at them and appreciate it. Kenny, I think, was coming from Wisconsin. I'm not oh no, Texas.
That makes sense.
Father Cottrey was going to Wisconsin. And yeah, and the Matthews family was going to Yellowstone.
You're from Arizona, right?
Yeah. I can't remember where the Stevens were. I think the Stevens were coming from California, maybe. And going, God, I can't remember now. I don't know. We'll get the posters up here and,
for sure,
and have fun looking at them. But so yeah, we lost Father Cottrey, unfortunately, last week. Kenny comes into the sheriff's station, like, the blood's still all over the floor. Um, Boyd's still covered in Father Cautry's blood,
Mhm.
and, Kenny lets him know that he's got most of the residents set up, and, there some of the residents had taken the Colony House people into their homes, and there's, like, 3 people staying with him and his mom and Jade. Um, and Boyd explains that Father Cautry actually saved his life, or risked his life to save his family. And
When they first got there, yeah.
yeah, and which, like, I laughed the first time I saw it. Like, it wasn't like I was laughing at the acting choice. It was just because he's a great actor.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I'll get to that shortly. But he Boyd is talking and then suddenly remembers something, and he tells Kenny to give everybody his regards and gets ready to leave. And Kenny tells Boyd that, I think they want to hear it from you, which
Yeah.
makes sense.
Is correct, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
He's the leader, and he has that personality that makes people feel better.
yeah, he has, like, the whole town's, like, sense of stability, basically, so
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Um, so yeah, he decides to go to the church to he walks into the church basement and finds Sarah down there. And we go from that to a flashback of the Stevens family, Boyd and Abby and Ellis, and that goddamn song again, If I Had a Boat.
yeah, it's all over this episode.
Oh my god.
All over this episode. It's, like,
Jesus.
4 times, I think, or 3 times.
Oh, yikes. Um yeah, they're listening to If I Had a Boat, and Boyd, the conversation's really funny. Like, Boyd is talking about, he's like, listen to how peaceful that sounds. The man has a pony on a boat. And
It's such a cute, like, really, like, when I realized what was happening, it's such a heartbreaking moment because it's such a cute scene, and seeing them just, like, be liked and enjoy themselves and be a
yeah,
family unit, and knowing what's, like, coming is such a bummer.
I know, it really is. Um,
Especially when he was, like, just getting out of the military after 30 years. He's like, "I have to
yeah,
enjoy my life." Never mind.
yep. Yeah, pretty much. It's cute. They seem like a great family, and,
They do.
they all get along so well, and it's,
Does this flashback fully cover them getting into town, or does it end before that?
it stops. We cut away once they get to the tree.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, they're on the way, and, they're driving down the road, and he's talking about how he wants a boat, and Abby tells him, we can't exactly afford a boat. They're pretty damn expensive. Um, Facebook Marketplace, Abby. You could get a boat for
You can buy a
$3,000. You
boat.
have that
Yeah,
kind of money. Come on. Um,
exactly.
boats. I would, when I look at how much boats go for on Facebook Marketplace, if I had the money to buy a boat, I would never buy a new one. My God. Um, but Boyd's like, hey, we can manage it. I'm Mr. Fish and Loaves, remember? He explains that they called him Mr. Fish and Loaves in the military because he could be given completely limited resources and just make the best out of it. And it's an interesting nickname because it seems so random. It has to be, like, obviously it is a biblical reference, but
Yeah.
it it just makes me think that there's got to be a biblical theme in this show.
Mhm. It
Um,
also makes me think about the town bringing in what people need, like a
yeah,
military level logistics expert, like
yeah, yeah, very true.
someone who will think to go out into the woods, because apparently no one has done that up to this point.
Well, I mean, would you like you could sprain your ankle or
That's a good
something and then get
point.
stuck
Yeah.
out there when night
He does.
falls.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I would be like, no, I'm something's gonna happen to me. I'm gonna fall and hit my head or something, and it's gonna be nighttime and I won't be back, and the creatures are gonna get me. Yeah. I wouldn't risk it.
That's a good point.
But yeah, he Ellis also points out that taking his mom's side, that his mom's name was Iron Abbey. And Boyd's like, yeah, well, you know, the thing about iron is it doesn't bend. It's stiff. And which is interesting because it's repeated a few times in the show that, like, Kenny said to Jade when he first got there, if you don't bend, you break.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite interesting considering what happens in this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
And
not the best safe name, maybe.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, he keeps talking about the boat, and Abby's looking through her purse, and she's like, I can't find my chapstick. I can't find anything in this bag. And she hands him something, and she's like, can you hold this for a second? And he's like, why am I holding a boat key? And it's so cute because he legitimately seems clueless.
Yeah.
It's like, and then it dawns on him. He's like, did you guys buy me the boat?
It's
and
so
I think
cute.
I know his, like, I loved Harold Perrineau, the way he delivered Boyd's excitement was so fantastic. Like, he was just so gleeful.
That scene, he has like just perfect dad vibes. Like,
Yeah,
he's just warmed my little heart.
I know. I loved it. And yeah, I think he was so excited that I think he said, "Oh snap," like 3 times. and and then suddenly he turned his head for just a quick second. Okay, don't turn your head while you're driving, but it was literally like, it wasn't even a full second, I don't think. And Ellis was like, Dad, watch out. And there was the tree right there. And when the camera panned out, we saw that they were just going over a curve.
Yeah. So like, it has to happen fast, right? Like, you have to be on a normal road, and then it just like takes you, because the tree wasn't there when he turned around, you know?
Yeah. And if you look at where they were, because when we got a flashback of them coming into town and the Matthews coming into town. Those are the only flashbacks that we've gotten, right? Of the people coming into town.
Yeah.
And they showed, like, they did a wide, sorry about that. They did a wide angle shot. All right. Hang on really quick, guys. I'm going to let him out because he's perfect. Sorry about that. He was barking at something out there. Yeah, so in both cases they did a really wide angle shot, and the area that the Stevens were driving in was like just this like really open countryside kind of area. And it doesn't seem like where the tree was, it seems more like they're driving in the woods or in the mountains.
Yeah.
So it's really like at some point it's probably when they go, I think there's probably a curve there every time. And then when they go around the curve, suddenly they're in Frumville.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That's probably how it works. But yeah, so they get you know, like we see the crows and we see the tree. And in the we go back to the present, and Boyd and Sarah are walking through the woods. I saw a comment on Reddit. It was either Reddit or Facebook about this episode, and how like there was some shot where they showed Sarah from the back,
Mm-hmm.
And it's and you know how she had that like that kind of peach beigeish color sweater?
Mm-hmm.
They said that for a second they thought she was topless, and they're like, "Wow, From got really dark."
Yeah, that would be a different show.
Yes,
That's
Sarah's
a
topless
little
in the
rough.
woods with Boyd. But yeah, so Boyd tells her that Boyd mentions that the creatures used to shriek all night, and then they found the talismans, and that's when they started to whisper.
Yeah.
I feel like that's been kind of inconsistent though through the show.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
they don't seem to they don't really like I don't feel like they really shriek until like get up on people now.
mhm.
But I don't know if they
Yeah,
have that consistent or not.
but yeah, I feel like I've heard more shrieking than whispering still. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
um,
Makes sense.
yeah, it's weird. I wonder what they're saying when they're whispering. It's interesting, huh? But yeah, Sarah asks him where they're going and where Father Khatri is, and Boyd just like very bluntly spits out, "He's dead."
Yeah.
What the fuck? Um,
Happened fast.
yeah, yeah, and she asks him about Ellis, and he said he's fine. He's just a little banged up, and then she starts crying, and he asks her kind of angrily, you know, "Did you cry like that for Ben Kwan, Kenny's dad?" And it's like I feel bad for her because she's just like it's like you know I'm such a Boyd apologist. I will apologize for anything this man does, and I'm not mad at him at
Mm-hmm.
all for getting mad at Sarah. But it's just like I felt so bad for her because she just like she wasn't allowed to feel her feelings.
Yeah. He was I
um,
mean, he was being really hard on her, but also like she did murder a bunch of people, so
yeah, yes, exactly, exactly. Um, but yeah, he asks her if the voices told her why they used to shriek and whisper now, and she says no. Um, and she she asks Boyd if he thinks that she's a monster, and Boyd tells her he doesn't care, and that the only reason that she's alive right now is because Katri thought that she could help them, and if she proves him wrong, he'll put a bullet in her himself. Um, which I mean, fair enough. Like they
yeah.
don't really nobody understands that at this point that she's just like she could be a homicidal maniac for all they know, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah. They don't know her.
Um yeah, like she could be like, "Oh yeah, I'm hearing voices." Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, voices. I didn't like, you know, just really want to kill people. I'm, you know.
She could just be schizophrenic. Like it could have nothing to do with from. I mean, it does, but
Yeah, and you know,
they don't
like
know
there was
that.
great um that great episode in The Walking Dead in season 4 where Carol had to kill Lizzie because like she was mentally ill in a way that was harmful to others,
Mm-hmm.
but leaving her there would be too cruel.
Yeah.
And there were no other choices, so she had to like humanely put her down. So I mean, I'd be kind of surprised if they haven't had to do that already in Fromville, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, Boyd kind of did, but
Yeah.
we'll get there in
We'll
a
get to
second.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but by the way, one of my favorite, one of my two favorite scenes in the series is in this episode.
Oh, good.
And I want to see if you guess correctly which one it is. um, So you can tell me if you're right when we get there.
Okay.
But so where was I? Sorry. I lost my place here. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, sorry. Okay. So some of the Colony House people are moving into the Lou's house, and Jade is Jade isn't really, the best welcome committee.
Yeah.
But I love Clara putting him in his place.
You stole my bike. Like,
yeah. Aren't you the guy who thought this was all in an elaborate escape room? How's that working out for you?
He's like, shut up.
Good for you, Clara. I hope she gets more screen time in the future. But yeah, I like her. So yeah, Jade throws a little Jade tantrum, and they he's asking them how long they're staying, and he's just not happy with it. And he's like, it really is a full-blown tantrum. He's like, they chose the flower, not the rock. Yeah. They don't belong here.
They don't belong here. I said out loud, he's the fucking worst. Right before Kenny said it, it made me laugh. That's why I got my name this week, because it made me laugh. I was like,
that's so funny.
Fucking worst.
Our names go. Our names go really well together. Your worst nightmare and fucking worst.
You thought we planned that.
Yeah, we totally did not plan that. But he asks them if anyone knows where Victor is. And Clara said that she remembers seeing him run off into the woods with Julie during the attack. And I love his reaction. He's just like, see what a little camaraderie can do? Kumbaya fucking yeah. And he walks off and, to go find Victor. So back in the Matthews house, Julie is explaining, like, how she got out of the house. And she's like, I was up in Victor's room. And like, I just thought that was hilarious that she immediately clarified it. She's like, no, not like that.
Yeah. Like, really? Come on. The way they both reacted to that, like, come on.
She was trying to put the moves on Victor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like, she's already creeped out by him. Like, you think it changed that fast?
Yeah. She's just gonna put the moves on everybody in Colony House.
Yeah.
But
catch one of them.
Yeah. And she said that he just told her it's starting. And Tabitha's like asking her, how is this possible that you got out and, just ended up like materializing elsewhere? And Ethan explains the faraway trees.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I didn't understand this at first, Julie's reaction at first, but on the second watch, I thought it was great, because it was just like, it seems like she's just irrationally crying, like having a really irrational reaction. But because it's not like he's telling them something bad, and Ethan's telling her like that they're gonna dig a hole and find out where the electricity goes. She's literally just freaking out because this shit doesn't make sense and it's weird.
Yeah, she's just like breaking down.
Yeah, and she's not handling well that things are happening that don't occur.
Especially when she thought she was someplace safe, and then about like 14 people got murdered.
Yeah, exactly. Probably in front of her. Well, no, she was in Victor's room the whole time. So
yeah,
but
I don't know if she saw anybody.
Yeah, because they were kind of like behind. I don't think they saw anybody, because they were kind of getting out. Victor's room is kind of off in a different area. So when they got out, like, I think they were kind of in a different area outside than everybody else. But Tabitha is comforting her, and she's, sobbing hysterically. And then, Kramer Jade just comes busting through the door. He's angry Kramer.
He
really is like
over
angry.
here.
And I love like both of the parents are just on him immediately.
Jim is full Jim.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, Jade barges in and asks where Victor is, and Jim drags him outside and tells him to stay the fuck away from his daughter. But he tells him, like, before that happens though, Jade tells him that, like, he shows him this, he pulls out the journal. He's like, I found this journal, and like the symbol that I saw before is written all over in here, and there's a picture of Victor when he was a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And what really interested me about this scene is, like, that's all really fascinating information. And Jim literally just knocks the journal out of his hand. Yeah. Like, I understand he doesn't want, like, his daughter has just been through a really traumatic experience.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to protect her. And, you know, he was obviously, like, rightfully pissed off at Jade just, like, acting like a weirdo.
In their house, yeah.
But still, I mean, he doesn't even look at the journal. Like, he doesn't pick it up after he calms down. Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah, it is strange. He is, like, his reactions to certain things, like he asks all these questions. You're like, you're trying to solve the mystery, but that's like a big piece of the puzzle, and he just doesn't give it a second look. I feel like he treats most information from Jade like it's just not important.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I mean, hell, I'd expect him to even be like, "Oh, picture of Victor. Let me see what he looks like as a little kid."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but it's weird. It's like, it's a picture of Victor in this journal that has symbols written all over it. You would think that he would want to see that immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's going off on Jade, and Jade starts a. I love how Jade apologizes the best way that I've ever seen a character apologize. Every time he apologizes to somebody, it's just done in this really funny way that is only Jade. And he's just acting completely insane. And
Mm-hmm.
he's just like, yeah, sorry. I like you said, his default setting is Dick. He's like, yeah, sorry. I guess I'm kind of an asshole. But you know, he immediately looks like a puppy with his tail between his legs.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim tells him that he was able to get some static from the radio that they took out into the woods. And if they can get it above the tree line, maybe they can get a signal. So we then go back to the flashback with the Stevens family. And, you know, they're driving through town. I just
realized in this scene for the first time when I rewatched this episode that the U-Haul like type thing they're towing is what becomes the box. Like, it's his moving truck or whatever they have their stuff packed into that they're towing is what they take apart to become the box.
I didn't realize that. Oh, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's, you know, they're driving through the town and they see this barn with they see the barn and the words "Save Us" are written on it, and Ellis is just like, Jesus, that's grim. And this is where I had to laugh. They get into town and Katri runs in front of their car, and thank God, because it was about to start getting dark.
Yeah, it's real close.
Yeah. And I mean, it made me wonder if they have like a regular watch out there for anybody if they start, if they come through close to dark so that they don't start circling the town at night, you know?
Yeah.
But he's like, we don't have a lot of time. Um, this is gonna sound crazy, but if you don't come with me, you're going to die. I had to laugh at that.
Yeah.
Like, maybe tone it down a little bit,
Just
because
a freckle.
if you actually want them to come with you, maybe just, yeah, you're going to die. But Abby pulls a gun out, and Katri's like, cool, you have a gun. Keep it pointed at me. Just come with me so you don't die. And
That seems to be Abby's move.
yeah, exactly. And so they end up following Katri, and he brings them to this underground location where Dale and Donna are, and they're basically sheltering there for the night. And Donna tells Abby she can put the gun away because, like, they're not going to do a thing to against the creatures. They're useless. And Katri tells them they can talk in the morning. And then they hear some footsteps and screams, and the creatures are obviously killing people up above. So back to the present, they're in the clinic, and Christy's taking care of Ellis and giving him a sling and pushing his shoulder back in.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yuck.
Yeah, I hate watching that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a really cute scene with Kenny and Christy. He shows up and gives her a book, and he said he just finished chapter 6, and Christy says that she doesn't think she'll be able to read much tonight because of all that happened, but she gives him a kiss on the cheek and says thanks, deputy. That was really cute. And you could tell Kenny was like, he wanted to do a cartwheel. He was a giddy look on his face.
That was very sweet.
Yes. So we then get Jim and Jade arriving at Colony House, and they find Donna outside, loading up the body parts. And 14 people died.
Yeah. She's
rough.
Literally just like picking up legs and like arms off the ground. It's rough.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So he asks if they can build a radio tower on the roof. And Donna was like, okay.
Might as well.
Yeah. She's like, lost 14 people last night, and I don't think anyone else is coming back, so we might as well use the house for something. Mm-hmm. And which, good common sense, Donna.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We see Boyd and Sarah in the woods again, and they find an old shack, which is likely the shack that Boyd told Frank to hole up in.
Yeah.
He tells her to stay in the shack while he takes care of things in town, and before they leave to go find a way home. And Sarah assures him she's not going to take off. She just wants to help.
I'm surprised he didn't leave her a talisman just in case he didn't make it back, but
yeah,
I guess he wasn't worried about anything happening to her.
Yeah, I don't think he was. So we go back to the flashback, and they're coming out of the their little hidey hole, and just finding all these maimed corpses in the streets. And Katri tells them that he'll explain more at the diner. And they're so in a diner, he's Katri's filling them in, and Boyd is just like, what the fuck? So this is your life. You just hide and pray every night. It sounds horrible.
Yeah, it looks horrible.
Yeah. When do they sleep?
Right?
Um, but yeah, and Abby asks if they know anything about the town, and Katri's like, we just know what we see, and we're just basically trying to survive the night every single night. And Boyd tells him that they need to start working together and taking care of each other. And I love that, like, Katri just immediately defers to him. She's like,
Mhm.
all right, what can we do? How can we start? And
We're
just
in charge.
yeah, just immediately hands over the reins to Boyd. But I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah,
Like, the
right?
man knows what to do. Um, so we then see Boyd organizing supplies to be rationed out and puts Donna in charge of handing them out. Abby is drawing up a system for where to hide during the night, and they need to be. He explains that they need to be constantly rotating their locations so they're not caught by the creatures. Um, Back in the present, Ethan is looking through Victor's drawings that Julie had in the
Mhm.
lunchbox and finds one of Boyd with the goat. And Tabitha then finds Julie sitting by the hole in the basement and offers to make her some food. Um, Julie asks if they're still going through with the divorce, and Tabitha just doesn't have an answer for her. Um, like she and Jim seem to be like all happy together and everything now, but
Yeah,
it's still like they're in Frumville, they don't know what's gonna happen, like, if
yeah,
they get out. But Julie, like, heartbreakingly asks if it's her fault,
yeah,
um, if she did anything, and yeah, Tabitha hugs her and reassures her and says that there's things that you won't understand until you're a parent, and one of those things is that you live for your children and your one job is to love and protect them. And she gives the story about how Thomas dies, which is just horrifying.
so brutal, so sad.
Yeah. And they were changing his diaper and the phone rang and she reached over to grab the diaper as Jim picked up the phone, and it was at that very second Thomas just rolled off the changing table and onto the floor. Just heartbreaking.
Yeah,
And she didn't say this, but, like, you can tell that she completely understands it's not Jim's fault.
mhm,
Um, but she can't help what she feels when every time she looks at him.
yeah,
And that's like she hears that phone ringing and it just puts her in a bad place. Um, and I was actually I was talking about this just yesterday actually with somebody, um, about the scene in the Walking Dead like, I was talking with somebody in the Walking Dead fandom about, how because there's a lot of Carol hate in the Walking Dead fandom,
mhm. I've
and
noticed.
yeah. And one of the things that Carol's character gets criticized for a lot is leaving Ezekiel, and I was explaining to this person, I'm like, there's this storyline in From where, the woman, she knows it's not Jim's fault. She knows he's a great father. She just can't help what she feels. And, like, that was kind of the situation with Carol and Ezekiel. She couldn't,
Yeah,
like,
they lost their kid.
yeah, that breaks up so many couples because
Absolutely, it
they
has to be so hard. Like, I could not
yeah,
imagine.
yeah, yeah. It's terrible. It's rough.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, imagine, like, I don't have kids, but I imagine if Jim and I were taking a walk with the dogs and I didn't put Banana's collar on right or something, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just, I'll fix it. I'll fix it later. It's fine." and she suddenly gets loose and runs out into the street and gets run over by a car. I mean, even if he doesn't verbally blame me for that, he's gonna have a hard time, like, just being around
Letting
me.
them go. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's really sad. Um, but, she tells Julie he's the love of her life, but she just can't stop thinking about that.
Mhm.
Um, and, she, Julie tells her that, like, "I'm sorry that I never told you this, but I was just trying to protect you, and you're always gonna be my little girl, so my instinct is to protect you from everything." So they have a nice hug, and, and then, uh and then we go back to the diner, and you can take it from here.
Okay. Let me open up my notes.
I really do, as much as I, like, rag on Jim, his saving grace is that he really is a good husband and father, and
He is.
yeah, and I really hope that, like, they find each other, whether they make it out or Tabitha gets back to Fromville and, like, they're just fully together again, because they clearly love each other so
They
much.
do. And they're a good
Yeah.
team.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Um, so Boyd is getting back into town and he sees Mrs. Liu defending the diner from Tom the bartender and several angry extras.
By the way, can I just point out, this is the scene, I think, where I first noticed just how diverse this cast is.
Mm-hmm.
I really
Yeah,
appreciate that.
me
Like,
too.
because there's so many, a lot of times you'll have a show where, like, the cast itself is, the speaking roles are diverse, but you'll just see a bunch of white extras standing
Yeah,
around, and you don't see that with this show. It's extremely diverse, which I love.
yeah. Body diversity, racial diversity. They
Yeah.
do a wonderful job. Like age,
Yes.
there's different,
Yeah.
there's a couple different, like, I think there's two pregnant women. Like,
Yeah.
they do a beautiful job. The casting department on the show
Yeah.
tells
Yeah.
it.
Excellent job.
Mm-hmm. Tom says that all the colony house people are staying with them and eating their rations, and if anyone's going to raid the diner, it's going to be him and the people from the town.
Oh,
And
settle down, Tom.
right, Boyd calms everybody down, and he's like, are we really going to go nuts over this, like, stepping dicks? And they're like, oh, okay. And the crowd kind of just disperses. We head into another flashback sequence, and we see Boyd talking to Father Cautry, asking if the creatures walk around in the forest during the day. Cautry says that as far as he can tell, that they don't know, but no one goes out there. And Boyd says that they should start scavenging the forest. And Cautry says it's probably going to be hard to find volunteers, but Boyd basically takes it on himself.
Yeah.
He asks him how long he's been in the military, and Boyd says 30 years, setting up logistical operations in some of the worst places in the world. And then he mentions that Abby was a Marine, and she's the badass of the family. And then we see Abby kind of standing in the middle of the main street, just staring at everyone and playing with her necklace. And Ellis walks up behind her. He asks her if she's okay. And she tells him that she's just remembering a dream that she had when she's a little girl. And she tells Ellis that she's fine, and she walks away. But you can tell Ellis is really worried.
That was a really interesting scene, and
Yeah.
it makes me wonder if Abby has been there before.
Right? I feel like she has a deeper, especially with things that happen later, I feel like she has a deeper connection, maybe like Sarah, to the whole place.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that I hope that we'll get more of a clarification on I don't know if we can get clarification of like what she was talking about, because I can't see that being a conversation that she had with Boyd or Ellis
Yeah.
that we'll see a flashback of.
Yeah.
But I think that we might find out that she was like, that she was there previously in another lifetime, you know, or in another universe.
Yeah. Another some other form.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
At the sheriff's station, Boyd tells Kenny that he can't leave right now. The town is on the verge of falling apart. Kenny says that's basically why he has to go. Things are breaking down and he needs to get them out of there. Donna enters and she comes in and listens to them argue. Kenny said that they thought the talismans made them safer, but it was really just a temporary reprieve. There is no safety to be found there. Like the only way for them to be safe is to get out, and the only way for them to get out is for Boyd to go out into the woods and get answers.
Very smart, because we find that out in season 2.
Yeah, there aren't
that
any
talismans
answers in the
don't.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He also tells Donna that she needs to get over what happened at Colony House and be the scary hard ass that she's always been, because that's what people need from her right now. And if they aren't fighting like hell to go home, then they might as well just end it there. And he takes off and he leaves Boyd and Donna to think about what he said, which is this one of the scenes, maybe? That's one of my favorite scenes. I think
this is a great scene.
Yeah.
It is a great scene.
I think this is his best scene so far in the series. Yeah. He's too good right here.
Yeah, definitely.
Donna says she's surprised that she didn't think he had that in him.
I love that.
Ask Boyd where he's going. Boyd says he'll explain, and they take off together to go to the station. We head into another flashback. We see Father Khatri seeing Boyd coming out of the forest with the goat. He is so excited.
Love goats.
Yes. So happy.
Yes.
He says there's also chickens and other livestock out in the woods, and he's going to bring traps back there tomorrow. Ellis comes up to talk with him, and he gives Khatri the goat very against his will. His face like, no.
If that were me, I would be like, I'd be throwing my arms around the goat. And I'm like, come here, little goat, come chew on my hair.
Khatri was like, no, thank you. Ellis tells him that he needs to stop going into the woods and that Abby is not doing well. She's not adjusting well. Boyd is like, no, she's hiring Abby. She's fine. And tells Ellis that he's just afraid and, it's going to be okay. And Ellis is like, you're not listening to me. You're not paying attention to what's in front of you. Like, he's, really worried about his mom. And Boyd is like, it's going to be fine. And Ellis is like, please, I'm telling you, don't go back into the woods right now. Like, just stay just tonight. And Boyd's like, I'll be back. We'll talk tonight, like, for sure. It'll be okay. And Ellis makes one last shot, and Boyd tells him he's going back into the woods, and he promises they'll talk when he gets home. Oh no, sorry, my thing just scrolled up to halfway through the last episode. Oh my god, sorry. Sorry. Okay. There we go. We're still in the flashback, and we see Boyd making his way through the woods. He's marking the trees so he can follow his path back to town. When he comes upon a very well cared for, well-groomed dog wearing a collar.
Yeah.
He asks who the dog belongs to. He calls him over. The dog comes pretty willingly and friendly towards Boyd, but then he hears a little noise and takes off, and Boyd starts chasing after him, but basically immediately loses his path, and the dog disappears, and he gets lost in the woods as it's starting to get dark, like we discussed earlier. We probably should have a buddy, He's the
Boyd and
buddy
Victor
system.
need to talk more because remember
Yeah.
in the episode where Victor and Ethan were in the woods and Victor
Mm-hmm.
freaked out when he heard the dog barking because he hadn't seen this dog in a long time. Well,
Yeah.
Boyd had. Like, they need to
They
start
should.
talking
I
more.
feel like everyone needs to talk more.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
definitely.
a lack of communication is a big problem in Fromville.
Mhm. Yeah.
We see Boyd traveling through the woods in pretty much full darkness, and we can hear the monster shrieking in the background. They are like obviously closing in on him. He pulls his gun and is like backing away, trying to like find some kind of safety, and he sort of falls backwards into this vine-covered cave. He can see the monsters gather at the entrance of the cave, and they look at him for a moment, and then they just kind of walk away.
Yeah.
And he gets up and he starts looking around, and he sees the talismans that we know keep the houses safe all over the walls of the cave. Then he makes the connection that must be what's like keeping the monsters at bay.
Yeah.
It was a cool scene.
Yeah.
They had like
definitely.
the milkman, they had like like Miss 50s, like they had all the good monsters out.
Yeah, I think the cheerleader was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the present, Boyd enters the clinic and he sees Fatima and Ellis. He asks them how they're doing after the attack on Colony House and lets them know that he's about to take off into the woods again. Ellis basically says, remember how that went last time? Could you not?
Yeah.
You're just going off, not knowing what you're looking for. Boyd asks to speak with Ellis privately, and Fatima gives him a few moments. This scene is really, anytime Harold Perrineau starts to cry, I start to cry. Just immediately
this is the
gets me.
This is the scene I was talking about.
It's
one of my two favorites in the series. Like,
it's a good scene.
Yeah, it really is.
Wood starts crying and he tells Ellis that if he wants to be mad at him, that's okay, and that he's proud of him. That's his son, and he's really proud of the man that he's become. And since he won't be there to tell him that everything's going to be okay, he's just let him know now everything's going to be okay.
Oh,
and,
God.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. Just heart-wrenchingly beautiful.
Really, really, the way he says, "You're my son," like,
oh, I know.
It's like, he is.
I know.
It's all real.
I cry every time I see that scene. Seriously.
It's so good.
Yeah, it really is.
Outside the clinic, Donna asks how it went. Wood said, about as well as you could expect.
Yeah.
He thanks Donna for taking Ellis in and looking after him. And Donna basically thanks Boyd for everything that he's done to make the town a livable place. I mean, we see how much improvement it's been since they arrived, and they kind of hug, and she tells them to get out of here before people start thinking they're friends, and Boyd takes off. Inside the clinic, Fatima tells Ellis that she's going to say something that might make him hate her, but that's okay. She tells him that what happened wasn't Boyd's fault and it wasn't Ellis's fault, and that it's the town, if he doesn't make up with his dad now or talk to him now, he's probably going to regret it for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
So we head back into a flashback. We see Boyd coming out of the cave. He's totally unharmed by monsters. It's morning now. He has all of the talismans from the cave packed into his shirt. But as he arrives back in town, he hears gunshots. And he runs down the street and he sees Abby just very calmly standing in the center of the street where she was standing before, where Ellis found her, just shooting the residents as they run by. Yeah, it's rough. God. It is a rough scene. her calm is terrifying. Like,
Yeah.
she's
Really
that
is.
actress is incredible.
Yeah.
That scene, yuck.
She's really
Boyd
good.
pulls his gun and he begs her to stop shooting as she approaches Donna, who's trying to take care of someone who's just been shot. Donna begs her to stop, and Abby tells her that this is all a dream and that they have to wake everyone up to get home, that she understands what's happening now. And Boyd runs up behind her and yells for her, and she turns around and she's like really confused, and she's like, no, you stayed out all night, you didn't come back, you have to be dead. Like, it doesn't make sense. He tells her that he found something in the woods that he thinks is going to help everyone, and she starts smiling and starts singing If I Had a Boat. And it seems like just for a moment that he's like gotten through to her and it's going to stop. And then Ellis runs up, calling Abby's name, and she immediately turns and pulls her gun on him. And to prevent her from killing Ellis, Boyd lifts his gun and shoots her first.
Oh,
and it is
God.
brutal,
Oh.
horrific way to lose a wife and parent. And ugh,
Oh my
that scene
God.
is, it really like clarifies everything that's happened up till this point. Like,
Yeah.
you just like, you don't understand why there's this rift between Ellis and Boyd, you know, going in, but
I mean, you know, he loved his wife.
yeah,
Like, he didn't want to shoot her, but
no,
the second she had Ellis in her sights, like, it was just parental instinct, you know?
yeah, it was him or her. Like, there was nothing he could do. There's
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Just heartbreaking. Like,
really.
God, like, I can't. This is so annoying because, like, we keep talking about how amazing Harold Perrineau is, but it's like every single thing he does is just like just the way he screams in the scene. It's just,
Yeah, he's
ah,
so good. When he's like, she starts singing and he thinks he like, he has that momentary relief of, oh yes, I did it, like I got her, and then right back, like,
yeah,
it's such a good scene. It's such a gut wrenching
Harold
moment.
is not paying us.
He,
I promise.
he doesn't have to.
Yes, exactly.
I will be the one woman give Harold Perrineau an Emmy campaign for free. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make a I'm gonna make a Church of Boyd shirt.
I'll take 3. Please, thank you. Back in the current timeline, we see Boyd picking up the shirt that he used to bring the talismans back to town. It's like packed up in a box. Clearly, he probably didn't want to see anything from that day for quite a while. He approaches the cabin where he left Sarah, and Ellis comes up behind him. Ellis tells him that he and Fatima both would have died without the talismans, and that it's a good thing that Boyd went out to find them, and that what happened with their mom wasn't his fault. And they basically have a nice little moment of forgiveness and hugs and reconciliation and more tears from them and me. And,
yeah, definitely, me too.
Boyd tells him that, this isn't goodbye, like he's definitely coming back. And then for some reason I cannot understand, Sarah decides to open the cabin door.
Oh my God, I know.
She has to know Cautry's dead. Everyone else in town hates her. If she hears Boyd talking to someone outside, like, he didn't call for her, he didn't come get her. Why is she opening the door?
And that's not the only time she's done it.
No.
And I mean, she did it when the Matthews showed up at the church. So I think she's doing it on purpose because she you know, like I don't want to give any spoilers, but she tells, you know, anyway, I think she wants people to be aware of her presence because she wants them to blame her and to be mad at her, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be hiding. She wants to like be like,
Face
"Hey, I'm
down what she's
here."
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very strange move on her part, but that does make sense.
Yeah.
Um, Ellis is very confused and angry, asks why she's there. Boyd says that he may need her help and just can he please trust him and not tell anyone. He promises to explain everything when he gets back, and Ellis just tells him to make sure that he comes back. Outside the diner, we see Kenny and Donna holding a meeting with all the townsfolk. Kenny says things. He's basically giving the speech that he was trying to get Boyd to give at the beginning of the episode. He says things are going to be a little different right now, but since Boyd is risking his life trying to find them answers, the least they can do is not tear the town apart, raid the diner, kill each other. That they are no longer going to function separately as town and colony house, but as one community, which they should have been doing the whole time, but whatever. Donna agrees. She asks that the colony house people please be good house guests, and she basically sets up for Jim to explain what they're going to need for building the radio tower. Jim kind of takes over the meeting, and he's like, we're going to need batteries, we're going to need supplies, and we see all the townsfolk start to gather up materials and walk them up to Colony House as once again, If I Had a Boat begins to play. Outside the bar, we see Fatima. Yeah, that song. It's not good.
No, sorry, Lyle, love it, but we're not fans of that song.
Not in my top 10. Yeah. Outside the bar, we see Fatima and Ellis coming back. Fatima sees Ellis coming back from talking to his dad, and she asks him if he's okay, and he just says no. And I thought that was really powerful. He doesn't fake it. He's not okay. How could you be? He's lost one parent. His other parent is going out into literal mortal peril. What are you gonna do? They kind of hug and we move back to the cabin. Boyd and Sarah are heading out on their journey almost at night, which I thought was weird. Why not just stay there and leave at dawn or whatever? But Boyd, it was weird. It's sunset. Why are they starting their trip right now?
But it is weird. But I mean, I think he I think he just wants to basically test out the talisman.
See who would hold up to his plans. Boyd tells Sarah he can't take any chances and cuffs her, and they take off into the woods, and that is credits.
So I have to ask you, what do you think about the situation with Ellis asking Boyd to stay back and that Abby needs him right now and everything? What are your takes on that?
I don't think it would have changed anything. I don't think him staying ultimately I don't think him staying would have ultimately changed anything. I think she'd snapped. I think even if he had stayed that night and tried to smooth things over with her or calm her or comfort her, that was coming anyway. The town had her. I don't think it
I
would have made a
mean,
difference, and he potentially wouldn't have found the talismans.
yeah. I mean, I think that Boyd probably should have checked in on Abby
Yeah,
um before he went out. Like, I
maybe
don't think
just real quick.
yeah. Though he might have worried that, but I mean, it could have waited, you know?
hmm
Um, but then again, it's like it's another night gone by with who's gonna die, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so yeah, so I could understand the kind of internal struggle, but I definitely think he should have checked in with Abby at least,
Yeah.
like, "Hey, are you okay? What's going on?" You know?
Yeah. Why is
Um,
Ellis so worried about you?
yeah. Yeah,
Anything? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Um, yeah, who was your MVP? Who's getting the, pancakes this week for you?
I think it's got to be Boyd. He just like between keeping the town together, like from like keeping everyone from being at each other's throats, and then all the flashback stuff you find out of everything he's done to get the town to where it is right now. Like, yeah, pretty solidly. I would say with a soft backup of Fatima, just for being like the voice of reason and like helping repair that relationship between Boyd um and Alice. But
Yeah.
Boyd is definitely he did so much. They would not be any. Obviously, they were just surviving from night to night, and not everyone was until he got there. And after he took over, they had almost 100 days with no deaths. Like,
Yeah. Um, I am gonna give the obvious Boyd is the obvious choice, but
yeah,
I'm gonna give the pancakes to Father Katri, um, because if it weren't for him, we wouldn't have Boyd.
yeah.
They would have been
Good
dead.
point. That's a good point.
So it's he can share his pancakes with Boyd.
Yeah.
'Cause Boyd deserves some of that. But yeah, I'm gonna give him to Katri. Um, who are you putting in the box?
um, Abby.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
Yeah,
being
that's
a murderer. Yeah.
kind of the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Um, I'll put Sarah in the box with the talisman. Um,
Yeah.
along with Jade for just being a brat.
Sarah for opening the door in the middle of their conversation because why? Like,
Exactly. Yeah,
what are you doing?
Sarah and Jade can spend the night in the box with the talisman. Um,
Mhm.
and Abby's just going in the box.
Straight up.
Yeah. Um, yeah, this was such a good episode, man. Like,
Mhm.
one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Such a good
It's
one.
incredible. It's the action's incredible. The story building, world building is incredible. Like it's just one of the best ones of the series. Definitely up to this
Yeah.
point.
So what does the title refer to? Broken windows, open doors.
I only can think that it's like I'm guessing it's the broken windows are colony house because Donna talks about all they're going to be doing if they're not building a tower is boarding at broken windows. Which who broke? I guess they broke the windows trying to escape. Ellis broke
Yeah.
one trying to get out. So and then
Yeah.
open door. So it's just like I guess and the open doors has to be referencing Sarah. Um, but I don't know like what the combination means. Like,
I I have a theory about the title of this episode. Um, I think it might be hinting at something or foreshadowing something
Mm-hmm.
that we haven't seen yet or know about yet. Um, but well, actually, no, I guess because Boyd does have a line in this episode that kind of goes along with my theory. Um, basically, what I'm thinking about is, the broken windows theory.
No.
It's it's basically like it's this shit theory that it's this shit theory about law and order, and that like the windows are intact, society stays intact. So
Okay.
like, you know, just even though broken windows aren't killing people or putting people on the street, like if you fix up the windows, if your town looks good, then your town's safe.
Mm-hmm.
Then your town will stay safe. And I I think that the broken windows might be referring to the talismans
Mm-hmm.
as being kind of a band-aid, like Boyd said. Because we later find out that they're not a permanent solution.
Yeah.
And open doors, I think just is referring to like, people taking in colony house people. I think it refers to a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
People in the town, taking in people from colony house. The idea of just working together, um, communicating with each other. I don't know. That's my theory. I really liked I just really liked this title in particular because
Mm-hmm.
it's I hate when titles just make absolutely zero sense to me. That happens in some shows.
Yeah.
Um, but or you know, sometimes they're really obvious, but this one I think was just like it had that perfect amount of vagueness to make it
Yeah.
interesting.
I like that it's a thinker.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like this a lot. God, we're almost done with the
Mm-hmm.
first season.
We're really close.
Oh my gosh. And I am so excited to when did you start watching the show?
Over over a year. Well, right after I think right when the second season ended. I think there was maybe like 2 or 3 episodes left of the second season to come out, but we didn't get there because we only watched 1 episode a night. So I think the season ended before we got to the end of the second season, but
Gotcha.
we started around like they were on like season 2, episode like 7, I think. When we
Okay.
started watching.
So you didn't have to deal with the season 1 cliffhanger. That would have driven me nuts.
Yeah,
That would have driven me absolutely crazy. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
It's
that's how I'm feeling about season 2.
Yeah, and next weekend, the trailer.
Yeah.
So excited. So excited. Oh my god, I can't wait. I can't wait to dissect every single frame.
Mm-hmm. I'm
gonna be just like spending just getting no sleep, just sitting there dissecting the From trailer and the Book of Carol trailer. I'm so excited about.
I didn't know that was coming. That's good news.
Yeah, and there's gonna be a From panel and a Book of Carol panel. So I am so excited. This is the first year that I've been ridiculously excited about 2 shows that are represented at Comic-Con at the same time. So this is a big year for me because
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I hope there's lots of good information that comes out of that panel.
Oh God, I hope so too. I hope so too. I don't think Scott McCord is going to be at the panel. I don't think I saw him. I know Harold Perrineau and Catalina Sandino Moreno. I remember seeing their names. I think David Alpay. But I can't remember who else. But I don't think Scott McCord is going to be there. I think he's in Italy right now.
Huh.
I don't know. But yeah, I would love to see him at the panel though. That's kind of bummed that he won't be there. But yeah, it's we'll have to do an episode talking about the trailer too,
Oh yeah.
sharing our thoughts. So that'll be really fun. So we're gonna have a busy time coming up. But just a reminder, we're working on getting guests lined up for closer to the season. And we're so excited. You know, we'll definitely talk about the trailer when it comes out. And again, sorry for the delay. I just bad day yesterday. So but
you gotta
yeah.
do what you gotta do.
Yeah, definitely.
It's Friday somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. It's Friday and it's still Friday in Fromville, right? We can decide that. But I'm really excited to be wrapping up the season because there's so much to talk about. And we will see you guys next Friday. Jasmine, did you have any other thoughts to share about this episode?
I feel good.
All right. Yeah, and while 11, I'm cursing you. All right, guys, we will see you later. Bye.